Hello and welcome back to another session from Trust Access Consulting Group in the series of COBIT 2019 that we are covering. We had already released three episodes of the governance objectives that are included in the COBIT 2019 framework. We will extend that discussion today into another governance objective that is around ensured resource optimization. So let's get started. Okay. So ensured resource optimization is another key governance objective in COBIT's EDM domain, which concerns around evaluate, direct, and monitor. So I'll do a quick recap of why do we need these governance objectives, and then we go into the details of this governance objective. So, previously, as we had discussed, all these governance objectives are curated by mapping your enterprise goals against your IT alignment goals. Okay. So, depending upon the type of the enterprise that you are working with and the geography that you are operating with, the enterprise goals are curated by the enterprise. And say, for an example, if you are in a manufacturing industry, your enterprise goal would be to ensure the goods are released into the market in shortest possible time with minimal defects in it. Now, the IT alignment goals must be curated to support the enterprise goals. Like, for example, you will need to invest in say SCADA systems or your industrial control systems that would help you achieve the enterprise goals respectively. Once IT alignment goals are designed, then certain governance objectives must be curated and supporting management objectives must be curated as well. So, in this series, what we are focusing on is to understand what these governance and management objectives are. And today's specific governance objective that we are trying to discuss is around ensured resource optimization. Okay. So, uh, so the purpose of EDM04 basically which relates to ensured resource optimization is to ensure that enterprises resources which includes your people, processes, technology and information, they are all used effectively as well as efficiently to achieve the objectives of the business. So, in a sense, this objective ensures that you are maximizing value from your available resources while minimizing any wastage, redundancy, and inefficiency. Okay. So, what are the enterprise goals that this particular governance objective is expected to support? So, the first enterprise goal that this is expected to support is around curating a portfolio of competitive products and services. Okay. So this goal ensures that the organization basically allocates resources to develop and maintain the products and services that would keep it competitive in the market. So how do you evaluate whether you are able to achieve these goals through this governance objective? So you can have multiple metrics for evaluating whether you are on way to achieve this enterprise goal. Say you can measure the percentage of products and services that are meeting or exceeding the targets in revenue and market share, which will indicate how effectively your resources are driving the business outcomes. Likewise, you can also measure the percentage of products and services that are meeting or even exceeding the customer satisfaction targets that will reflect how well the investments in quality and delivery are actually translating into customer value. You can measure the time to market for new products and services, which is essentially a measurement for agility and resource alignment with innovation. Okay. Likewise, you basically what you are trying to achieve through this goal is to ensure that resource optimization is directly aiding to the growth of the business and helping the enterprise compete in the market. Okay. Likewise, if you have the enterprise goal that surrounds around optimization of internal business process functionality, here the goal is to focus on ensuring internal processes that you have are efficient, they are standardized, and they are scalable. So some of the metrics that can be used to evaluate these metrics would be around understanding the satisfaction levels of the board and the executive management with the business process performance. You can also measure the satisfaction levels of your customers and suppliers with the efficiency and the reliability of the service delivery. Okay. These metrics will go ahead and demonstrate whether the organization is leveraging its human and technical resources to continuously improve the operational effectiveness of its enterprise. Okay. So the third thing that, or like the third goal this particular objective can help you achieve is around ensuring that you have a managed digital transformation program. So here the emphasis is on ensuring that the transformation initiatives like system upgrades, automation, or cloud migration, etc., are appropriately resourced and governed. Okay. Likewise, you can also measure whether you are able to achieve this governance objective. This enterprise goal is by evaluating the number of programs that you deliver on time and within the budget, which will demonstrate discipline in managing financial and human resources. You can also evaluate the percentage of stakeholders that are satisfied with the outcomes of your delivery, measuring the confidence in how these resources are allocated and utilized. You can also do a measurement of the percentage of business transformation programs which are stopped or delayed, which will help you identify the resource or governance bottlenecks. You may also have a measurement of the programs that provide regular and accurate status updates that will reflect good oversight and transparency. So, together, these enterprise goals will ensure that the resource management basically drives your innovation, operational excellence, and transformation success. Okay. So these are all the enterprise goals. So you will have to have a portfolio of competitive products and services. You will need to optimize your internal business process functionality, and you will have to have the digital programs or digital transformation programs that are effectively and efficiently managed. In order to support these, you will need to have certain IT alignment goals. And one of the IT alignment goals that you should have to achieve these enterprise goals via these objectives would be around ensuring that you deliver programs that are on time, on budget, and that meets the requirements and quality standards. So this particular alignment goal basically focuses on the execution quality and performance reliability that will ensure that all programs and projects are actually using resources in an optimal manner to achieve their intended benefits. Some of the metrics would include how many programs or projects that are completed on time and within budget, which will reflect an overall resource efficiency. You can also measure the number of programs that would need significant rework or budget increases due to quality defects, which might give you an indication of the inefficiency in the resource planning or utilization. You can also evaluate the percentage of your stakeholders who are satisfied with the program and the quality of your project. Okay, which basically ties back to the governance oversight and performance assurance. So this alignment goal ensures that the governance framework drives your accountability of your resources and ensures that every project and program is monitored not just for delivery but also for value and quality. Okay, so to summarize this particular governance objective, which is around ensured resource optimization, ensures that the enterprise is using its people, technology, and financial resources efficiently. It maintains transparency and accountability in how the resources are allocated. It supports your innovation and transformation without overextending budgets or capacity. And it aligns governance with the operational goal of doing more with less, ensures that your investments and resources are consistently delivering the measurable value. Okay. So ultimately, this will help your leadership to strike a balance between capacity and demand, as well as cost and value with efficiency and agility that will ensure sustainable business performance. Okay, so that was the goals and enterprise goals and the IT alignment goals that this particular governance objective can help you achieve. Now let's turn our focus on this particular governance objective in general. Okay, so this governance objective basically is around ensured resource optimization. It is a very critical governance objective. It is dealing with value delivery, and it basically helps you to ensure even the risk is managed. Okay, so we previously discussed about how do you ensure there is an value delivery or benefits realization. We've discussed around how do you ensure that the risk is optimized. This one will focus on making sure the right resources where people, process, and technology are available, are aligned, and are used significantly and efficiently to deliver value at an optimal cost. Okay. So let's focus on what understanding what is the objective is all about, what this governance objective is all about. So this governance objectives will ensure that the adequate and sufficient business and IT resources like people, process, and technology are available to support your enterprise objectives that are effectively managed and at an optimal cost. Okay. So this will ensure that your enterprise resource needs are met in a very optimal manner, your IT costs are all controlled, and that the organization is prepared for change and continuous improvement in value delivery. Okay. So the question now emerges is why do you need this? Why resource optimization matters for an enterprise, right? So effective governance is not just about having good controls, it's also about ensuring that capabilities, skills, and technology are available where and when they are needed. Okay. This objective ensures that enterprise maintains the right balance between capacity, capability, and cost efficiency so that the business remains agile and future ready. Okay. So, this particular objective expects you to have three major practices, and we'll discuss all these three practices along with the supporting tasks to achieve its outcomes. Okay. So the first practice is around evaluation of resource management. Okay. So this particular practice basically focuses on analyzing how the organization is currently managing and allocating its IT resources, which includes people, financial resources, and technology. It also considers whether the resources align with the future needs and strategic priorities. So, how do you measure the outcome of this particular practice? You can measure the number of deviations from your resource plan that you have initially curated. You can evaluate the percentage of resource plan and enterprise architecture strategies that are delivering value and mitigating risk with the allocated resources. Okay. So, what are the tasks that can be implemented in order to achieve the outcomes of this particular practice, like which involves evaluation of your resource management activities within the enterprise? So, first thing that you can do is you can do an examination of the current and future resource needs. Okay. So evaluate current and future resource needs. So evaluate what are your available resources from a technology standpoint, from a finance standpoint, and from a people standpoint, and do an assessment of the sourcing option, whether you are going to procure them in-house or you are going to go through the outsource strategy or a combination of both, like a hybrid strategy that would help you to meet strategic and operational goals. Now, this can help you balance cost, capability, and flexibility. Okay. Cost, capability, and flexibility. So, if you know or if you do an examination on a periodic basis around what are your current and future resource needs, you will achieve at least a capability level of 2 in a scale of 1 to 5. Okay. So, that is one thing that you can do. The other thing that you can do here is what is from an enterprise level, validate whether there are defined principles for allocating resources. So, what are the defined principles for allocating resources. So here you can evaluate whether the enterprise has established key principles for how resources will be allocated and they will be managed within agreed budgets and priorities. Okay. So, for an example, you would validate whether our enterprise has defined preferred sourcing models such as cloud first strategy or outsourcing guidelines, etc. So, if these principles are defined, you will have a maturity level of 2. Okay. The third thing that you will do or you should do as part of your evaluation process is you need to review and approve what are the resource and architecture plans. Okay. So basically, the enterprise must have a strategy for ensuring the approval of resource and architecture plans. Okay. So here you will need to evaluate and endorse the plans for enterprise architecture and resource allocation to ensure that they deliver the business value and reduce your risk. So this ensures that the investments in infrastructure and applications basically align with the long-term strategy. So if you have the strategy around approval of resources and architectural plans, then you can achieve a capability level of 2. Okay. So resource and architecture plans. Okay. The other thing that you can do is evaluate how the alignment is defined between the financial department, the IT department, and HR department. So you must evaluate the or you basically will need to understand how IT resource requirements are connected to the enterprise-wide financial planning and human capital management. This will help you to promote consistency between your IT resourcing and enterprise-wide workforce strategies. Okay, so finance, IT, and HR must work in close coordination to ensure there is consistency between IT resourcing and enterprise-wide workforce strategies. So this will allow you to achieve a maturity level of 2. Okay. So you can also evaluate whether the enterprise have defined enterprise architecture management principle. Okay. So there must be enterprise architecture management principles which should be followed within the enterprise. So the enterprise must set clear principles for governing and controlling enterprise architecture that will ensure alignment between its IT systems, between processes, and strategic objectives. This will help you to support scalability and prevent redundant or conflicting system. Okay. So if there are defined enterprise architecture management principles, your maturity level will be elevated to a level of 3. So if you are implementing this practice where you periodically evaluate the resource management strategies within an enterprise, you will have a strategic and a forward looking resource management approach that balances availability, capability, and cost effectiveness to meet the enterprise goals in an effective and efficient manner. Okay, so that is the first part of it. So there is the second thing that you can do is ensuring uh, there is a direction towards managing resources within an enterprise. So now, this practice ensures that once the resource management framework has been evaluated, the leadership provides clear direction for its execution. Okay, so it must focus on assigning accountability, enforcing the principles, and ensuring that all the parts of the enterprise follow the agreed resource strategy. Okay, so the metrics that can be leveraged here is to evaluate what are the number of deviations from and exceptions to resource management principles, and what is the percentage of reuse of application architecture components. So these can help you to validate whether these practices are implemented within the enterprise. Now, in order to provide the direction around the resource management strategies within an enterprise, what are the activities that you must do? Okay. So, the first thing that you should do is you should assign responsibility for its execution. So, clearly define who is accountable for executing resource management activities within the enterprise and also for maintaining its efficiency. This will ensure there is ownership across business, IT, and HR functions and can help you achieve a maturity level of 2. There is another thing where you can establish principles for safeguarding resources. Okay. So principles for safeguarding resources. Here you will need to develop principles and policies that will ensure critical resources, whether it is human capital, financial capital, or technology, are used responsibility are used responsibly and protected against any misuse or efficiency. So define safeguard principles. Okay. So this will help you to achieve a maturity level of 2 as well. And then you can communicate and promote your resourcing strategy. Okay. Communicate your resourcing strategies. Okay. So here you will need to ensure that the resource management strategy, whatever it is, and the enterprise architecture principles and the sourcing plans are communicated across the organization. So this will ensure there is always a buy-in from your stakeholders and consistent applications across its department. It will elevate your maturity level to 3. Okay. If you implement this, then what you need to do is you need to ensure there is alignment between your HR and financial planning department. So you must integrate resource management efforts with enterprise wide financial and workforce plans, which can help you prevent over investments or under investments in technology and skills. It will also help you elevate your maturity level of 3. So again, there must be alignment between HR department, finance department, and technology department surrounding the skill levels that should be there within an enterprise for managing your resources. Okay, especially the human capital resources. Okay, so the other thing that you can do is you can define key metrics and goals where you will need to establish measurable performance indicators for your resource management, like your cost efficiency, utilization rates, and capacity planning metrics. So this will provide governance visibility into whether resources are being optimized effectively, and will also elevate, because you are measuring it, it will elevate your maturity level to 4. Okay. So you will have a well-directed resource management framework where basically accountability, communication, and measurement basically ensures optimal utilization of people, processes, and technology. Okay. This is the second particular practice that you can implement. Then the third practice could be around monitoring your resource management. So this is the final practice which ensures that continuous monitoring of how resources are allocated, used, and optimized. So this will enable leadership to assess whether resourcing strategies that are remain aligned with business priorities to take corrective actions whenever there is an inefficiency that is rising. Okay. So basically what you need to do is you need to monitor the allocation and optimization. So you will need to regularly review resource allocation and usage against the agreed goals to ensure resources are supporting enterprise objectives efficiently. For instance, checking if staffs are allocated to the most critical projects or if the infrastructure is underutilized. So always monitor what you call is monitor your sourcing and architecture strategies. Okay. And have KPIs defined around it. It will elevate your maturity level to 4. Okay. You can also track performance and address deviations where you will need to measure performance against defined targets, investigate causes of our underperformance, and take corrective action when necessary. Okay. So track your performance and address deviation. Okay. So this closes the loop between planning and performance and also elevates the maturity level to 4. So by implementing the actions that are included in the third practice, which is around monitoring resource optimization, what you'll have is a dynamic and a continuously improving resource management system that will ensure that the right resources are available to you. They are aligned and optimized for both current and future business needs. Okay. So, so basically, EDM04 ensures that the organization not only has the resources to deliver the business values today, but also capabilities to evolve tomorrow. It supports your governance goals by ensuring the people are skilled, available, and engaged. Processes are efficient and scalable. Technology is strategically deployed and cost effective. and financial resources are used widely aligned with the business priorities. So, in a sense, the governance objectives will transform resource management from an operational necessity into a strategic enabler of your enterprise success. Okay. So, an enterprise that masters resource optimization can adapt faster, innovate more effectively, and sustain long term value creation. So, this particular objective will ensure that all your IT related resources, from ensuring there is skilled talent to digital infrastructure, they are all managed holistically, transparently, and in harmony with your business strategy. Okay. So, that was all about what that governance objective was and what are the practices and activities that must be included in order to achieve its outcomes. Having discussed that, let's now focus our attention towards ensuring what should be the RACI matrix that should be included to achieve the outcomes for this particular governance objective. Okay. So basically, now that we have understood what resource optimization means at a strategic level, let's look at how it is governed and managed organizationally. Okay. Basically, an RACI matrix needs to be created to ensure the resources are used effectively, efficiently, and even sustainably. Okay. So, in simpler terms, this component basically clarifies who does what in ensuring that the people, budgets, technology, and assets are all optimally aligned to the business strategy. Okay. So, there are three governance practices that we discussed under this governance objective. And the first one was around the evaluation of risk management. Okay. So, this particular practice basically ensures that the enterprise resources, whether human capital, financial capital, informational or technological, they are all being managed effectively and they remain aligned with the goals of the business. Okay, so it involves doing an assessment of the current state of your resource utilization, including identifying shortages, redundancies, or inefficiencies, reviewing whether resource allocation supports the strategic priority, not just from an operational demand perspective, and evaluating capacity management and demand for forecasting. Basically, ensuring that future businesses can be met without overextending existing assets. So here the board and executive committee basically are something that you would find to be accountable. So board essentially is accountable while your executive committees, which involve strategic committees, steering committees, audit committees, etc., along with the chief executive officer and operating officer with chief information officer and the IT governance board, they are all responsible to ensure the outcomes are achieved for this particular practice. Okay. So this practice ensures that leadership has a clear and current understanding of how enterprise resources are performing. Okay. The second thing is around direction towards resource management. Now, once evaluation is complete, the next step is to provide direction for how resources should be optimized. Okay. So this particular steps involves setting resource management priorities and ensuring that they align with the goals of the business. Okay. And they also helps to define resource allocation frameworks like budget distribution models, staffing structures, or technology investment portfolios. So this can help you to approve strategies for improving the efficiency, for an example, automation, cloud adoption, or outsourcing to reduce key overhead. Okay. This will also help you to ensure that the key skills and capabilities are always aligned to both the current and future business requirements. Again, the accountability, as you would imagine, will be resident with the board, but all other participating entities, which include the different committees, the CEO, CIO, COO, and your IT governance board, they are all responsible for implementing these directions and ensuring there is operational alignment. Okay. So IT governance board basically helps to translate the directions into a specific IT resource plans, which ensures that the right technology and skills are available to support the enterprise goals. So this practice basically ensures that the decision on resource usage are not reactive but strategically directed and justified. And then there was this third practice which we discussed, which was around monitoring of the resource management. This was the final step in the governance cycle that ensures that resource management objectives are being achieved and any deviations are promptly addressed. Okay, so this will help you to track your KPIs for resource utilization, efficiency, and productivity. This can help you to monitor capacity and capability metrics like your system uptime, skill coverage, and staffing ratios. and it can help you to review financial performance, ensuring that the budgets are used as expected and intended and delivering the expected returns, and can help you to have an oversight of your remediation action if resource gaps, efficiencies or inefficiencies or bottlenecks are identified. Okay. So once again, you will expect the board to be accountable here, while all the executive committees, CEO, CIO, COO, and your IT governance board are all responsible for ensuring its outcomes are delivered. Okay. So these are basically expected to execute these monitoring activities and provide transparent reporting. Okay. So IT Gov Board basically is expected to support monitoring by providing visibility into IT related performance metrics and resource utilization trends. So this particular practice will ensure there is a governance continuity where leadership not just directs resource usage patterns but also stays informed about performance, sustainability, and risk. Okay. So in summary, your first practice was around ensuring that resources are properly evaluated and identifying gaps and inefficiencies. The second practices ensures that they are directed strategically, aligning usage with enterprise goals. And the third practice basically ensures performance is monitored, that promotes accountability and continuous improvement. Now, this particular governance structure creates a clear chain of accountability from the boardroom to the operational floor, ensuring that every dollar or every penny that is being spent on the system and skill contributes to enterprise success. So ultimately, this particular objective enables the organization to do more with less, improve service delivery, and sustain performance, all while ensuring transparent oversight and value for the stakeholders. Okay. So the now that we have discussed the components associated with the RACI matrix, let's explore some of the other components that we have within this particular governance objective. Okay. So first one is around people skills and competencies. Um, this component basically emphasizes that that optimizing resources is not possible without having the right skills and roles and practice. So it ensures that you need to hire individual who are responsible for planning, allocating, and managing resources are equipped with both technical and governance capabilities. And there are two key skills areas that they must be having. One is around portfolio management. Again, this has been taken in from the skills framework from Information Age. Now, this skill focuses on having an oversight and balancing investments across programs, projects, and operations to ensure optimal return on investment. It also involves evaluating the resource demands across the portfolio, prioritizing based on strategic importance, and ensuring that scarce resources are allocated where they can deliver the significant amount of value. And essentially, portfolio management ensures that the resources basically follow a strategy, not just the other way around. Okay. Then there is another skill that you must be looking out for the people who are involved in ensuring resource optimization is around the resourcing skill sets. This skills is again drawn in from the skills framework from Information Age. And it ensures that the enterprise has the right people with the right skills at the right time to deliver on its strategic and operational commitments. So it covers workforce planning, capacity forecasting, and maintaining the balance between your internal talent and external sourcing. In short, this particular skill makes sure that the organization's human capital is used wisely and strategically. Together, both of these competencies will ensure that the people who are managing enterprise resource optimization understand how to balance capacity, capability, and cost in pursuit of its business goals. Okay. So now that you know, like, what kind of people skills and competencies must be in place, the other thing that you need to have is identifying what policies that you need to curate, okay, in order to support this governance objective. Okay. So so this particular section basically focuses on establishing the rules and structures that would guide how performance and resource utilization are going to be measured. So key policy here is your performance management policy. So this policy is actually recognizing the need for a performance management system that are beyond traditional accounting, one that actually captures both tangible and intangible value, and it encourages the adoption of frameworks like balanced scorecard, which integrates financial performance with customer satisfaction, process efficiency, innovation, and even learning. Okay, so this can help you to promote measuring the relationship and knowledge based assets such as employee capability, organizational agility, and the innovation driven culture within the enterprise, so which can also help to aim to translate strategy into measurable outcomes and help organizations track both long term strategic goals and short term operational progress. And it can also help to support continuous improvement by linking resource performance metrics to business performance indicators. So, this holistic approach not just ensures that the governance bodies have a comprehensive view of resource effectiveness, not just the budget utilization. Okay. And the next component this governance objective is expected you to have an understanding for is the culture, ethics, and behavioral aspect. So, while policies are going to define the rules, culture defines the mindset, and therefore, this component emphasizes establishing a culture where resources are valued, investments are justified, and utilization is transparent and ethical. So, key cultural elements in this segment would include ensuring that the resourcing or resource allocated decisions align with the organizational priorities. So, no effort or investment is actually wasted. It also encourages leaders to value both tangible and intangible resources such as knowledge, time, and innovation capacity. It involves promoting an environment where employees understand the importance of optimizing what they have rather than always demanding more. And it is also about a culture which reinforces accountability by ensuring that the teams take ownership for how their resources are being used and reports on performance transparently, and it helps embedding the usage of performance management systems like your balanced scorecard into your day-to-day decision making. For example, if the IT department invests in a new automation tool, the governance framework ensures that its benefits, such as improved efficiency or reduced downtime, are appropriately tracked and validated. Ultimately, this culture fosters responsible stewardship and resources that can help organizations make the most of what they have while maintaining trust and transparency, right? And the final component that you can associate with this is services, infrastructure, and application. Now, this is the final component which provides the tools and systems that would help you to support measurement and continuous improvement. So, here the key enabler is performance measurement systems like your balanced scorecard tools, which can provide you with a holistic view of performance across financial, operational, and learning dimensions. You can also invest in skills management systems which can track workforce capacity, utilization, and development needs. Now, these systems allow your leadership to measure how resources contributes towards your business objectives, identify where bottlenecks and inefficiencies are existing within the enterprise, and make data-driven decisions about reallocation or process improvement. Now, these serve as the backbone for evidence-based governance, ensures that decisions are always grounded in reliable, quantifiable data rather than assumption or intuition. Okay. To summarize whatever we've just discussed, this particular goal is about understanding or ensuring there is resource-based optimization. You need to evaluate how your resources are being used. You need to direct your enterprise to have a resource optimization strategy, and you need to periodically monitor whether the allocated resources are being effectively used. Okay. So you need to invest in people and skills to ensure that the organization has capable professionals who are managing portfolios and resourcing effectively. You need to curate policies and procedures to establish frameworks for measuring the bottlenecks, performance beyond just cost, and you must inculcate culture and ethical practices that would embed accountability and transparency into the daily decision making requirements. And you must invest in systems and applications that can help you to provide the tools to track, analyze, and optimize resource performance. Together, all these components make EDM04, which is around ensured resource optimization, a powerful governance objective that ensures every dollar that is spent, every resource that is hired, and every system that is deployed is used purposefully to drive business value. In short, your resource optimization is not just about cutting costs, it's about maximizing impact while ensuring long term sustainability and strategic alignment. Okay, so that's all what we have got for you today in this particular episode, which was around ensured resource optimization. We will come back with another episode where we will discuss the last governance objective in next session, which is around ensured stakeholder engagement. So keep sticking to us, keep listening to us. Thanks again for listening to Trust Access Consulting Group, and we will connect in another episode and discuss more about COVID 2019. Thank you again for listening.